Shalom, Sister Kate here, Shofar Mountain. Pastor and I were recently listening to a podcast by Joe Rogan, who has now been, knighted by Spotify as like the top podcaster. Well, he is the top podcaster on YouTube. He gets billions of views a month, and he has influenced the general society and also even the election with his podcasts. He's had over just about 1,500 interviews with just all sorts of people. So we were listening to a podcast with Joel Salatin, who is the Polyface Farm creator. He is the most influential farmer for locally grown and healthy and natural food. He lives somewhere in, I think, Middle Virginia, and I don't remember if he wrote a book, but he definitely, had a show or something about, letting pigs be pigs, and then how he feeds his pigs, and they get to run in the woods on his property, and then he butchers them, and he has a meat compost and like a chicken compost, and he did the chicken tractor and having cattle graze down grass to a certain point and moving them and letting the chickens come through, and then after them, you guys know. And I think Joel Salatin really was right. It's really blessed the way he was able to get a voice about, locally grown, naturally grown food. No problem with him there. But in this interview, Joe Rogan asks him about the COVID-19 and, what does he think about it and so on. And he immediately started into concepts that were brought up in a banned YouTube video called Plandemic. And there's a reason it's banned. People are, all upset with YouTube because they took it down multiple times. But Plandemic was disinformation. There is a Dr. Judy Mikovits, and she gives a very convincing testimony about how Dr. Fauci conspired to ruin her medical experimentation into mouse DNA affecting people with chronic, what's it called? CFS, chronic something syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome. And she accuses Fauci of, keeping her in jail for, if I remember what she said correctly, 2 years, costing her all this money, and Joel Salatin started to bring out ideas that she also talked about, and also, or Voss or something, Vasa maybe. And in his video, he talks for a good, 45 minutes about how if we just made our immune system strong enough that we could withstand viruses, and we don't need to have, symptomatic treatment or develop vaccines or anything. We just have to have our immunity super strong by eating good food and so on. And he got a lot of following. I think it was Vasa, this Dr. Vasa. I had people sending me his video link and all that stuff and saying, here it is. This is proof of a conspiracy because our government is looking for a vaccine. Joel Salatin is not a medical person, and he doesn't claim to be. Neither is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan even admits that he's dumb, but he is a very good interviewer, and he asks good questions that are relevant to the topics being discussed in his podcast. So good information comes out during his show. But I cannot, with my limited medical training, and just having done research into viruses, and I'm telling you, John M. Barry's book, The Great Influenza, about the 1918 influenza, is a very in-depth book, and it's medically sound as far as I know. And again, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm here to tell you, if people like Dr. Vasa and Dr. Mikovits can give false statements and put out information that I don't think is medically sound. Yeah, I think I'm smart enough. I think you're smart enough to read a book and tell whether this person is just, yakking about something he doesn't understand. And his book is what a lot of real doctors like Dr. John Campbell and Dr. Huang refer back to when they talk about the treatment, the quarantine. Dr. Birx, Dr. Fauci, they're all basing what they know about quarantining from a virus from information about the 1918 flu, which John Barry presents also in his book. When you have a new virus, your body doesn't have immunity to it. You have to build that up, and the only way you can build that up is by your exposure to it. Whether you actually get it or not, there's a difference there, being exposed and actually having it, and the risk comes in without any immunity. You don't know if you will survive it, and there are plenty of cases of young, healthy people getting this virus and it just tearing them up or killing them, as well as older people whose immune systems are compromised. And the other thing about older people is they have their lifelong unhealthy habits that affect how their body reacts when they're in their 70s and 80s. People who smoke their whole life, their lungs are not in any shape to fight the virus. Or if they've, eaten nothing but fat and sugar and been overweight, their heart is not in any shape to fight what the virus does to your system. So Joel Salatin talks about, making your immune system very strong, and how he goes out occasionally and drinks water out of his cow's trough and so on, and swears, he's 63 and he's been super healthy. There's a certain amount of truth to that. I mean, Pastor and I are fairly healthy, but sometimes when you get exposed to germs that you don't have any immunity for, you get sick. I mean, and I think trying to sell the idea that your immune system alone will help you survive this virus, I think that's being medically shortchanging, because the 1918 flu killed mainly 20 to 40 year olds who were generally the healthiest part of the populace, and a whole slew of soldiers who are even that much more healthy because they have to be exercising for, their soldiering, running and push-ups and all that other stuff. It's not necessarily about your immune system or not your immune system. It's about this virus and how it attacks your body and how your body will respond to it. So I don't want you to think that you can just pop, a ton of vitamin C and vitamin D and drink, I don't even know, ginseng and lemon and ginger, and you can survive this, because plenty of healthy people have got it and still passed away. But having said it that way, it is good to have your immune system up, but the one way to not get this virus is to be quarantined from it, and that is the safest way to deal with it. All right, stay safe out there, y'all. Bless you. Shalom.